Okay, so we're going to use AJAX to connect to WebAPI, and just the purpose of this is to show the AJAX functionality. Okay, so we're going to click File, New, Project. We choose Web, ASP.NET Web Application. Click OK. Then we're going to choose WebAPI. Okay, so then we're going to go to the controllers folder, and we're going to go to the values controller, and that's the web API we're going to use for the purpose of this demo. So you can see here that we've got a web API with get, you see post, put, delete. So it's all of your REST calls, REST functions. So, and we're going to use this right here. And we're going to use this one to return. So now let's go to the views, and let's go home folder, click index, and we'll go in there. And you can see this is the I guess you might say the main HTML page that we're going to use, which is a CS HTML. So I'm going to change this to hello, just to show that we're actually in there. Okay, so now that we've added our hello, let's give it a run. So there it is, there's our hello. So that's the page that we're at. Okay, so now we actually really don't need all this for what we're doing. So we'll just get rid of it, and we'll just work here. So we're going to add a button. So go to the toolbox. I'm going to drop an input button on there, and then go back to the toolbox, and let's use a text area. We could also use a text box. So let's just drop a text area on there. Okay, and give that a run. So here's our button and our text area. So next we'll add a function. So we're going to do script, close it off. I'm going to say function, load my data, okay, and then we'll work in here. So that's our function, but it's really just a regular function. And next we'll turn it into a AJAX. So we're going to make the call to the HTTP request, and what we do is we do var. You could name this anything that you want. I'm just going to call it X equals new X HTTP request. And you can see that once we do that, we have the IntelliSense. Okay, so now you can see the IntelliSense is here, so we're going to use on ready state change equals function okay, and this will happen when something happens. So let's give that a run just to make sure the syntax is okay. And you can see that we're running. Syntax is okay. Okay, so now we need to reference the text area that we made, and we're going to use that ID. So we're going to reference the document. We're going to document.get element by ID, and then we'll go get this ID of the text area. Okay, then we'll do .inner HTML equals, and then we're going to use response response text. So we're going to do response text. Okay, now let's check the syntax. So it runs. Now the thing about this is that even though it ran, it doesn't really mean that everything is correct, but it pretty much means that it's not breaking right away. Okay, so now we actually need to make it send to the document. So we're going to use this X again, which is the XML HTTP request. I'm going to say x.open, and we're going to use a get because we're getting the data, of course. And now we're going to go back to the Web API, the controller. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to get this. That's the address we're going to use. So now we come back and we put that in here, and you put a /, and you put that in here, and then we're going to say true. Okay. And then we're going to do x.send, and that will actually send it. Now, this won't do anything yet because we're not calling this function, but pretty much the function should be done. It should be built. And we'll just need to add something to the button to call this function. Okay, so this is the function that we want to call. So we're going to copy this, and now we're going to go up to the button. So here's our button. I'm going to say on click equals, we put our function name in there. Okay, so when the button is clicked, we're going to run, this is the function that will run, which of course is this, and then this all should run, and then we'll go get this from our Web API and send it to the text area 1. So let's give this a run. So we'll give it a run right here. And there's our button with our text box. So we click the button, and we see that the values from the Web API have come back into our text area. So now let's take a look at that. And what we did was we have our button and our text area. And this ID is the element we search for. We find it, and we set it to the response. And then what we do is we go to the Web API, and we get this, we go to this address, go to the Web API, and then we send it. Okay, and so if we take a look in the Web API again, you'll see that these are the values that are being sent back. Okay, so if I change it to cat and dog, and then we go and we run it, there's our cat and dog. Now, if you notice when we go to the Web API, if you notice, there's multiple gets. So you have this get, and you have this get, and if we pass in a number, then this one will run. If we pass in nothing, then this will run. And so that's it. That's AJAX with WebAPI, and of course it's a very simple start, but it's a good way to start, I think.